All right, welcoming you to Therapeutic Yoga for the care of you. And you may be arriving in a very different state than the state I'm in. I try to present a sort of a balanced, even sequence for us so that whatever state of being you're in, you can practice with us and giving you modifications along the way. So I think the biggest thing I'm hearing today is that we need motivation to set time aside for ourselves. And so having a weekly class can do that, and seeing the same folks in that weekly class can be very useful as well. I feel like Mr. Rogers, just coming in, taking off my socks. It's a beautiful day in the neighborhood. It truly is a beautiful day today. So why don't we begin by centering a little bit? So getting anything you need, getting things in order so you have everything for your practice today. That might be a glass of water. That may be a blanket if you're feeling chilly and you want to wrap up a little bit, or place a blanket across the lap. And we'll just begin by noticing the space you're in. And you can take a look around, and everything you see in the room around you, this is your space for today. And you can take up all this entire space, your whole body, your whole energy body, your whole physical body. So we're just taking a look around our space and claiming it as ours, as our own. And if it's a space that you typically share with other people, this is a good practice to do. Today, in this moment, this place is mine. And then you could soften your gaze down or close your eyes. And beginning to notice the container of the body, which is also your space. Noticing the feet on the earth, seat in the chair. Coming into this body, this home. And perhaps finding your breath, a way to fill up that home with mindfulness, with attention. In through the nose, out through the nose or mouth. Breathing in through the nose. And maybe sighing it out the mouth. As you breathe, just allow the belly to relax. Allow the shoulders to soften, allow the jaw to soften. And we're setting a boundary around this time as well. This time is my time to care for myself. And adding to that, you could set an internal intention. So, for example, if you're caring for a lot of different health issues today, you might simply state inwardly, I am healing. If you're feeling pretty good and you just need to move and breathe today, it might be something simple like, I am present. So just finding something simple and positive, present tense, letting that be your inner intention that you can repeat throughout our class today. I'm taking care of myself is a good one too. And then we'll sort of seal this intention with a little bit of sound. The sound kind of allows, as my teacher says, set your intention and let the sound carry it to the divine. So with your intention in mind, we're just going to take some bees breaths, creating a little humming sound like that of a bee with the mouth closed. Doesn't have to sound good. beautiful friends. Softly, gently opening the eyes and really feeling like I'm here now. I'm ready to practice. I have my intention. I have set my boundary around my space, around my time. And now I'll begin to move and breathe. So I'll bring my hands down at my sides with the palms facing away, so I have this nice open chest. I'm going to inhale my arms up. And as I exhale, I'm going to bring my palms to face out and bring the arms down. So I'm just testing my wings, breathing in, arms rise. Breathing out, releasing slowly down, seeing what the range of motion feels like for you today in your shoulders. Inhaling. Exhaling. You can always continue to repeat your intention internally. You can also continue to hum throughout your practice, if that would add, a way to become more present in your body. Let's take 2 more just gentle arm lifts. This sphere I'm setting around myself, sphere of protection. Good. And then I'll bring my arms back up to about shoulder height with the palms facing forward and the thumb. I'm going to give you guys a thumbs up. Thumbs up for making it to yoga today. Okay. Thumbs down if you don't make it to yoga. I'm just kidding. And we're going to just rotate the thumbs back and down to sort of feel the range of motion in the shoulders. You can really feel that. And if it feels like too much, you're caring for shoulder issues, maybe you stop. And we'll end on a thumbs up. Okay, and then I'm going to give myself a hug. Another way that I can care for myself is just by kind of bringing myself into this embrace. And taking a breath. Yeah, maybe yawning a little bit. That is actually kind of a reflexive thing that happens when we're feeling relaxed, when we're finally feeling relaxed. So rubbing the hands together. It's a little cold in my space today. I'm going to interlace my fingers and juice up my finger joints. So press the palms away. And then I might lift the arms up just for a moment. This could be something you skip, right? My palms are facing up, your palms could face down. And then I'll release my arms down and grab onto my chair. Inhale, squeeze the shoulder blades together, lift the heart. So there's an arching of the back. Maybe the chin lifts a little bit, but if you're caring for neck issues, we're going to steer clear of too much extension. And then I'll release and let my arms dangle, just kind of let them really swing here, getting the energy moving. Sometimes this time of year, early March, we can kind of get stuck. We can feel tired. And it's like a big deal to have a season change. So how can we get unstuck? We can move. And twists are particularly good for becoming unstuck. So I'm going to open my arms out to the sides. And actually, let's bring the hands into a cactus. And I'm going to twist my whole torso to the right. Come to center, inhale. Exhale, twist to the left. Inhale to center, like my heart is a camera. And I'm pointing the camera to the right to take a picture of something in my space. Coming to center, pointing my camera to the left. Not too many interesting things on this side for me. And we're just moving one more time in each direction, taking some pictures with the heart camera. And then coming back to neutral, bringing the hands down. And I'm just going to tilt my right ear to my right shoulder. Inhale, center. Exhale, left ear, left shoulder. Inhale, center. You could close your eyes and just feel this movement in your body and see if there's a way you can relax the shoulders as you move from side to side with the breath. You could linger longer, especially if one side is a little bit more restricted, which is definitely true for me. I've got my right side is like really well done and my left side is sort of medium rare. So I could take 1 or 2 more on each side. And then coming back to center, and I'll interlace my fingers behind the base of my skull. So I'm really into the strengthening the neck as well as a way to relax the neck. I'm going to push my head back into my hands and then release the effort. Pushing the head back into the hands, releasing the effort. I might inhale and exhale, pushing the head back into the hands. Good, you can feel the neck muscles working. So hands can come to the forehead, pushing the head into the hands. It doesn't have to be as hard as you can go. Maybe it's just one hand, releasing the effort. Taking a few more here with your breath. And maybe finally hands on the sides of the head, moving from side to side. I won't even be able to see it, right? We're not tilting, we're just pushing the head into the hands, side to side. I could maybe see it that your neck muscles are working a little bit. And then finally, I'm going to bring my hands back to the base of my skull and just tuck my chin down and put a little gentle pressure. So I'm getting a stretch for the back of my neck. And then I'm coming back up and massaging any areas that need some extra care, infusing my hands with a little bit of compassion for myself today. Like, oh man, you really have been going through a lot lately. You're doing great. A little internal cheerleading. And it's so funny how we really need to hear that. At least I do. Not quite the same, but I try to give it to myself. All right, shoulders up, back, and down. That's good. Maybe the opposite direction. It feels so weird to me to go that way. Crickety crack. You got it. Could you do one going one direction and the other going the other? Oh no, I don't think that's possible. If any of you can do that, I think maybe you should be teaching the class. I can't do that. All right, let's toss that one out. Always willing to try something new, and bringing a little space between the feet. Maybe taking a hand onto my belly, a hand onto my lower back, and I'm just connecting with this part of myself I refer to as the pelvic bowl. Pelvic bowl of goodness. Some of us, tend to have issues in this area, whether it's urogenital, urinary infections and such. We might have bladder issues. This is true of a lot of my clients who are ladies above a certain age, right? So this is something that happens. All the muscles in the body, need to be toned. So I want to share with you a little breathing practice that can help kind of build a little bit of awareness and perhaps some strength in the pelvic floor muscles. So you probably know Kegels. We're going to do something like that. In yoga, there is a lock called root lock or Mula Bandha. And essentially what we're doing is we're locking the bathroom muscles as if we were gripping something. For us, for the females, it would be like gripping something in the cervix. For a male, it would be that area right between the anus and the penis, right? So, sorry, I'm saying all the words today. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to breathe in and let my belly be nice and full. As I breathe out, the belly's going to squeeze in and I'm going to lock my root lock and pull up and in. Inhale, releasing that is just as important as strengthening that. As I inhale, that belly is full. As I exhale, I'm squeezing everything up and in. You could close the eyes, inhaling, letting the belly be soft. Exhaling, squeezing everything up and in. You could take maybe 2 more. And then release. And see if with a nice, full, soft belly, you can keep that part of some awareness of that part of your body as we move through the sequence today. And try to notice if you're somebody who tends to always have things squeezing, you would be what they call hypertonic. Or if you're somebody who is the opposite of that, who is sort of always a little bit relaxed in that part of the body. I'm not an expert in this. I have a lot of learning I still need to do in this particular department, and I, welcome any feedback you might have. I personally am somebody who happens to be usually quite tense, and so I actually really need to learn how to relax this part of my body so I can take the deepest breath possible, right? As my diaphragm pushes down, the pelvic diaphragm pushes down too. So there's like a whole network of muscles right at the bottom here. And so if that's always squeezing up and in, my diaphragm is not going to have not going to be able to go as far. So I'm working on that, relaxing that part of my body. All right, moving on. Let's move the spine. I'm going to bring my spine, I'm going to move my torso, stir the pot, and any other movements that show up here. I might be gently arching and gently rounding my back as I do this. Breathing in for half the circle, breathing out for the other half. I could even hum. Like I'm churning some butter here today. I could come the other direction. And slowly coming back to neutral, just a little more aware of a little more of my body. My goal is to wake up my entire body. So let's lift that right arm up and over. See how that would feel. And I might keep the arm flowing. So I'm side bending and I'm arm circling. I'm stirring up my vitality, my prana. My energy is flowing with this movement. I'm still grounding down. I'm noticing my pelvic bowl and whether I'm relaxed or I'm tense. And neither one is necessarily correct. It's just noticing. And then I'll come back and move the other direction. So first just stretching the side body, right? And we'll take some arm circles. If you've got stuff going on in that left shoulder, you can modify. I'm breathing. Again, noticing my pelvic bowl, noticing my root lock, finding my breath. And maybe taking one more arm circle, coming back to center with the arms out to the sides and the elbows bent. I'm going to squeeze my shoulder blades together and then bring my forearms and my palms to touch and put a little pressure there, right? So a little strengthening. Inhale, opening nice and wide. Exhale, squeezing. Maybe you could inhale and relax the belly. Exhale, squeeze the belly and maybe lock the root lock. Inhale, open, belly soft. Exhale, squeeze belly, root lock. And we'll take one more. That's a lot of things to pay attention to. And then give yourself a hug. Breathing in and sighing it out the mouth. Repeating your intention internally, whatever it may be for today. And then you can release the hands down. I'm going to pick up my toes, pick up my heels, rock my feet back to center. Rocking my feet back to center and extending my right leg out, lifting my right leg up and circling my toe. I can write the letter O with my right toe, sitting up nice and tall. Maybe go in the other direction with your O. And then releasing down and switching it up. Left leg out, write the letter O with your toe. And go the opposite direction. All right, and now we're going to put on our thinking caps here. So thinking of the name of someone, could be an animal, could be a person who really brings you a lot of joy, who's there for you, who's got your back. And we're going to lift this right foot up and we're going to write that person or that pet's name. And I have to think about that. Okay, I've got one. All right, so writing that person or a pet's name with your toe, that right toe, and then same thing, other side. Could be a little easier, could be a little harder, depending on your... And I picked a short name, so that was tricky of me. All right, and then you can just root down through your feet for a moment and close your eyes. We're going to take 5 bees breaths here and sending that intention with the sound as well. Feeling the vibration, feeling the body with the vibration. Back to normal breathing. I'm going to shift my body weight forward a little bit. So I've got my hands on my kneecaps. I'm like ready to pounce. I'm going to lift all 10 fingers out like I've got claws and getting ready for lion's breath. I'll open my mouth as wide as feels good to me. I'm going to stick my tongue out as far as feels good to me. I'm going to gaze either down at the floor or up at my third eye and create a little sound. Good, and then release from there. Rub your hands together, reach up, massage that jaw muscle. Get between the eyebrows if you carry tension there, if you constantly furrow your brow. And people say, what's wrong? And it's just your regular face, right? This is me. They'll look at me and I'm like, scowling. I don't know it. So erasing that for a moment. Letting the face drain of expression, just putting on that mask of mindfulness. So this is the mask of mindfulness that I use to observe from a distance. So continuing, through our whole practice to kind of have this in place. As we get ready to transition to some standing postures, I'm just going to move a little bit and get my blood flowing. So opposite arm, opposite leg. A big swing. Maybe it's just the legs, maybe it's just the arms, maybe it's a little bit of both. Kind of getting my body warmed up. Breathing in, breathing out, noticing that pelvic bowl. Can I maybe let go a little bit, or maybe I need to tense up a little bit for good core support. And then when I'm ready to, I'll come back. I'll get ready to transition. And for this transition, I might want to have that root lock as a way to kind of propel me up. Coming up to stand at your own pace. visiting the hydration station. Already feeling a little bit more vital in my body. You got it, Joe. Big breath. Beautiful. Coming to stand. I'm in no hurry. And I'm just going to kind of lift one heel at a time, bend one knee at a time, kind of this like walking light. And I can let the arms swing in opposite directions. Almost like I'm pretending to walk on one of those conveyor belts in an airport, right? Just zhuzhing along here. Kind of getting the legs warmed up a little bit. Okay, so from here I'm going to warm up my joints. We did the ankles, we did a little bit in the knees, and now the hips. So what I'll do is I'll put the weight into my right foot, and I'm just going to pick up my left heel. I'm going to keep the left toe on the ground, and I'm going to circle the knee. And as I circle the knee here, I can kind of feel that my left hip is getting lubricated, right? You can feel that left hip is moved, that top of the femur bone is rolling around in the hip socket. Rolling that knee, circling that knee in one direction, maybe the other direction, and then switching sides, putting the weight over into my left foot. That toe can stay on the ground. I'm circling the knee and lubricating my right hip joint, maybe moving the opposite direction. All right, and then I'm just going to turn towards my chair here. I'll inhale my arms out and up. As I exhale, I'm going to bring my hands to my chair and step back to a downward facing dog. And I'm going to take one breath here. I'm going to inhale and step my right foot forward and come to warrior one. My left foot is at a little bit of an angle, so I have my right knee is bent. I'm going to sweep my left arm up. Good. If I felt safe doing so, I could sweep my right arm up. If I'm caring for high blood pressure, I'll keep my hands at heart center. Taking a big breath and then releasing the hands down. So just a quick visit to warrior one. I'm going to shorten my stance, take a breath, and fold forward to whatever degree feels good for me. Both legs are straight. I'm tucking my chin so I'm not exacerbating neck issues. Softening the shoulders. Yes. Good. Easy breaths. Walk yourself up. Pour the weight into the right foot and pick up that left leg. Maybe you want to do a few kicks. And maybe you don't lift the foot up very high. Maybe you feel you could keep the left leg lifted. And then we're releasing back to a standing posture and bringing that right foot back, sinking into warrior one with that left knee bent, swooping the right arm up. You could stay here with just the right arm reaching if you felt safe doing so. The left arm could come up as well. If you're caring for high blood pressure, the hands are at heart center. And I'm finding my breath. One more big breath, and then hands come down. Shorten the stance, both legs straight. I'm taking a fold forward to whatever degree feels safe for me. What's happening with my pelvic bowl? What's happening with my root lock? Would that help me here? Probably not. I'm going to let it relax. Tucking my chin. Walk your way up, pour the weight into that left foot, and you could kick the right foot up a few times, or maybe you keep the right foot lifted. This is our version of a warrior three, right? So I might bring my hands down. I might be working towards letting go, maybe it's one hand out to the side, tucking that chin. Root lock would really help me here, right? Breathing. And then releasing it down, we're going to step it all back to downward facing dog. Finding 3 breaths. Sigh it out the mouth. And then walk your way up nice and slow. Turning to face towards me and taking a wider stance. Taking the hands to heart center and coming down into a little bit of a squat here. So I'm kind of ready to move. And I'm going to bring my weight from side to side. Bringing my weight from side to side. This might be where I stay. I could begin to lift the opposite heel up. So I'm kind of coming up onto the tiptoe of one foot and the other. I might be getting ready to kick and flow a little bit from side to side. You feel those side glutes working. Don't forget to breathe. You've got it. The slower you go, kind of the harder it is in terms of balance. So I could take maybe 1 more on each side. And then I'm coming down and bringing my hands down and taking 3 breaths, repeating my intention internally. And then we'll flow a little bit from side to side. Airing out the side body. And 1 more on each side. That's good. Coming back to center, both arms out to the side. A little softness in the knees and in the hips. And I'm going to swing my torso, twist my torso to the right, and loosely come back to center to the left. Breathing in. Breathing out. Everything that I see in my space is here for my practice today. This is my sphere, my domain. Practicing kind of, being worthy of allowing this to be my space, even though it's a place I'm renting. I might do 1 more on each side. I love it, Joe. So beautiful. And then I'm coming back to center, and I will give myself yet another hug. I forget what the medicine is, like 12 hugs per day or something that they say a human being needs. And I'm woefully short of that. So I've got to make up for that with hugs to myself. All right, I'm going to bring my right toes to the right and widen my stance a little bit. Tilt my left toes in and sink into my right knee. So I'm in a warrior 2 shape. My torso is pointing towards you. So this is a lot on the hips. If this feels like too much on the hips, you can shorten the stance up a little bit. And I'm going to squeeze everything, like I'm squeezing my muscles along my bones, and I am doing a little bit of a root lock here. If you felt safe, you could bring both arms or just 1 arm out to the side. See how that feels for you. Squeeze the left glute muscle. And then I'm turning my head, and I'm just gazing over my right hand, maybe sending my intention out a little bit farther. Are there people in my life who could help me attain my intention? And could I ask them for help? Be it today or someday in the future. I'll flip my right hand, and I'm going to trace the ceiling with that right hand while the left hand comes down. I might even straighten my right leg if it feels like a little bit too much. Flowing back and forth between warrior 2 and reverse warrior. And one last time, warrior 2. Reverse warrior. And then just coming back and turning all 10 toes towards this one side. In fact, let's take a little bit of a breather between sides. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the seat of my chair, and I'm going to take a little bit of a wider stance and come into a wide-legged forward fold. So you can do a down dog if that would feel better for you, right? Or you can try a wider-legged forward fold. And maybe your forearms can even come down onto the chair. I'm personally keeping my back flat because I have herniated discs. If you have osteoporosis, maybe you're avoiding rounding the back. If you have vertigo, maybe you're keeping your head lifted. So finding a few easy breaths. Maybe you want to wag the tail a little bit, moving from side to side, getting a really nice stretch today. When you're ready to come up, you can take your time. Taking your time, resetting things so we can practice warrior 2 on the other side. I start with the wide stance. Yep, I'm getting warmed up here. You want to take a sip of water? Go for it, my friends. We're having a pretty active class today. Taking that wide stance. You got it. You just grew 2 inches, Stacy, with the bun. That's what I love about my bun. It makes me taller. So left toes to the left. Angle the right foot in. You got it, Joe. Good call. And bending into that left knee, my torso's pointed to you still. Pulling my belly up and in, squeezing everything that I can squeeze, which is a great way to build bone. It's a good bone strengthening pose. And then I'm bringing my wings out, gazing over my left finger and reaching out and sending my intention out. Maybe instead of a person I'm asking for help, I am reaching out to my higher power. Maybe that higher power is just the sense of the universe itself, or maybe I'm thinking of a particular, spirit or spiritual practice that I have. So sending my intention out to the divine. Maybe I can't do this by myself and I need a little help. So flipping that left hand, trace the ceiling, straightening that left leg, reaching back, reverse. Come back to warrior 2. Breathing in, reversing your warrior. Back to warrior 2. And I think we'll do one more. Reversing. And coming back to warrior 2. And then releasing the arms down. Coming back to a little bit of a wider stance with the toes pointed out. Take a breath. How are you guys doing? Feeling okay? You can always give me a thumbs down. I'm open to that feedback. Okay. I'm going to sink into my knees a little bit. And I'm going to bring my hips back. My belly is tucked back. And I'm going to lock that root muscle for my goddess pose. My goddess pose is strong. I'm down deep in the mud here. And then I'm going to inhale and lift up. Reach for the stars. Exhale, sink down. Maybe locking that root muscle. That root lock. Breathing in and breathing out. So strong. And one more. Lift. Come on down, maybe farther. Pushing the feet apart isometrically, tipping that belly back, locking the root muscle. One more breath, and then give yourself the old hug and just circle the hips a little bit. And then I'm going to lean forward and let my body move my arms. letting my arms be really heavy. And this is kind of a fun practice, right, for the idea of surrendering. Sometimes I really don't have any control over a situation, and the best thing I could do would be to relax my body and let my higher power take over, if that is something that I subscribe to, right? Or just sort of letting go of effort in some way. And then when I'm ready, I'll come up and roll my shoulders, and I might want to walk it out a little bit. I might feel like I've got a little dance in me today. It feels like it should be Friday. Are you with me on that? I don't know why it is not Friday, but it's Friday in my heart. Maybe taking one more on each side. All right, and then we'll check out a balance pose. So I'm going to come around to the left side of my chair. I'll feel my right hip up against this chair. We're going to take a tree pose. So I'll begin to put the weight in my right foot and bending my left knee and opening that left knee to the side. So once I get here, I sort of feel like things get a little shifty, and I'm going to try to pull everything up and in. This is a great pose for that root lock too. So from here, I could bring my foot up a little higher. Squeezing that right glute muscle is going to help too, disperse the effort. If I have higher to travel, I could maybe manually tuck, right? Option to keep the toe on the floor as well. So lots of different ways you can practice tree pose. Belly up and in. I might take my left hand to my heart. Oops, that's the microphone. Right? I might, for a millisecond, bring my hands to heart center if I feel like I can take my hand off the chair. Chair is always there if I need it, and just having it just there at my hip really feels good. It's not supporting my weight, right? And if you find yourself in any kind of pain or discomfort, modify so it's gentler. Take one more breath and release and kick out that right leg. So you do feel it in the hip. And we've done a lot of stuff with the hips today and in this part of the body, this root pelvis. So coming around to the other side, I'm just going to kind of slide my left hip along the chair and pour my weight into the left foot. Pick up the right heel, open the knee to the side. And, you know, I feel myself getting a little off kilter. I want to pull everything up and in, and then bring my foot to the place that feels right for me. It might not be way up here. It might not be the calf. It could be the floor. The rule is really anywhere but the knee. So I could take my right hand to my heart. This might be where I stay. Maybe the other hand joins, even if it's just for a moment. Finding my breath, feeling the strength of my intention growing in me. And you take one more breath here. Yes, beautiful. And then letting it go, kicking it out, taking that sip of water, and we will wind down. And if you're somebody who typically needs to leave after 45 minutes, you can please take care of yourself by winding down with a few breaths and maybe a tiny little stretch. And promise me you'll just lay on your back at some point in the day and do some windshield wipers with the knees bent. And, you know, take a good break on the back at some point. All right, so I'm coming to sit. I'm just going to check back in with you guys, how you're feeling, okay? Good. It was a good practice today. We're going to wind down with our usual stretches and then a little bit more breathing. So I'll take my right ankle over my left knee. Really feeling the hips today. And this, I might already feel quite a bit of sensation here. If I want more sensation, I could reach my heart forward and lean forward a little bit, tucking my chin, relaxing my shoulders. That's it, Joe. You're just like me. I always have those shoulders kind of lifting, lifting. Find your breath. Sigh it out. Good. And then I'm sitting up, crossing that leg all the way over and just rolling my right ankle. And then from here, I'm going to twist from my core to the right. And I'll just place my hands in a way that supports this twist, maybe one on my knee, one on my chair. And I'm sitting up really tall. The chin is level with the earth, and I'm peeking over the right shoulder. And releasing. Switching it up, left ankle over the right knee, modifying as needed. Moving into it slowly, maybe folding forward a little bit. The side could feel different. Breathing. One more breath. And then sitting up tall, we'll cross the knee over. Roll that ankle. Twist from your core to the left. Take the hands where feels best. I'm peeking over my left shoulder. And I'm going to let my shoulders relax here. They tend to rise up a little bit in this posture for me. And then relaxing back to center and taking one big stretch. Maybe even simulating a yawn, a reflexive action that kind of indicates relaxation is here. Okay, so we're going to come back to our bees breath practice. We're going to do 10 bees breaths in a row. That might be at a faster or slower pace than what I'm offering. And I think I'll just do a little ring here of our bowls. So you can feel your feet on the earth, the seat in the chair. And just notice the container of your body for a moment. And within that container, the breath and the vibration of bees breath can be housed, can be in a home. So breathing in. resting for a moment without making any sound. Drinking in a little bit of stillness, a little bit of silence. Letting this stillness and silence be nourishing. Beings everywhere be happy. Loka samasta sukhino bhavantu. May all beings everywhere be happy. Loka samasta sukhino bhavantu. Samasta Sukhino Bhavantu. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Taking the hands to heart center, and one last time, feeling firmly rooted in our intentions, that we can create strength and structure in the mind, and that can ripple out to affect our day-to-day life. Setting an intention, it's like a positive, sort of an affirmation. Setting that intention one more time, just filling the whole container of the body with that intention. And sending it out into the space all around you. And seeing in your mind's eye what you look like with this intention being true, manifested. Visualizing this. And then if it's in your practice, and you'd like to seal our sequence today with one Om, joining me for one Om. And thanking you so much for your practice today. Namaste. I will see you soon, friends. If you're in the Therapeutic Yoga series, this was our last week. We'll take a week off, and then we'll be back the following week.